Hari Sharanam, children. Today I'll tell you a very fascinating story of the descent of the river Ganga to earth. The Mahakumbh is going on at Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh of India, and people from all over the world are coming there to have a dip in the holy Ganga, to receive her blessings and to rid themselves of some of their sins. People will often ask you why this river Ganga is so sacred, so special. You should know the answer to this question. The scriptures say that this is the only river on the planet which did not originate on earth. She originated in the divine ethereal world. So her story is twofold. One is that relates to her creation as a goddess in the celestial world, and the other is the earthly part when she started flowing on the planet Earth. But before I proceed with the story, I have to tell you a few things. The first of them is that it seems very surprising and strange, probably even untrue, that any river can descend from the skies onto the earth. But this is not so surprising and strange because today the science believes that a major part of the water available on earth came from outer space. You can go to the internet and check. The earth is 4.6 billion year old is the conclusion of today's scientists. During this long period, many meteorites came from outer space bearing ice and bearing water. And the water was released on the earth's surface. So the same event is being described in two different manners by the scientists and the people writing the scriptures. So maybe that Ganga came riding the large meteorites from the outer space. Often people will tell you that the story of the origin of Ganga, like other stories in the scriptures, Hindu scriptures, are a part of the mythology. Mythology means something which did not really happen anywhere, but was imagined. All the faiths have such stories, no exceptions. Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, Jainism, all the faiths. For example, in Islam, it is said that the founder of Islam, Prophet Muhammad, went on a tour of heaven and hell and came back from there. Now tell me, this is mythology or reality? Ask them. A third thing very important about the Ganga River is that if you store the water of the Ganga River in your home, it will not degenerate. Some people have collected the waters of all the important rivers of the world and experimented with that. They found that all the waters degenerated. But Ganga water did not degenerate, remained as good as fresh water. So this shows even physically she is very special. However, let's come to the story part of it. What happened once, there was a great king called Bali of the Daitya community. The Daitya community means literally the community of demons. But he was not like a demon. He was a very virtuous and enlightened king. And he was so good in all manners that even gods were jealous of him. Now, during expansion of his territory, he even included the territory of gods and made them subservient. So gods went to Lord Narayana, who is God the Supreme in a personified form, Saguna Roop. He is the highest divinity. All gods, other gods and goddesses, go to him as the supreme deity. They wanted his help in fighting against this demon king Bali. But Lord Narayana refused. Bali was a very virtuous and righteous king, and he was also, because of that, a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. He said that wars bring a lot of destruction, so don't go for a war. Let me find another way of doing it. So he incarnated himself as Vaman, a dwarf, as a son of a sage Kashyap and his wife Aditi. So he is called Aditya also. King Bali was conducting a great yajna. So at the end of yajna, it's customary to grant the wishes for charity. So Lord Vamana came there disguised as a Brahmin and asked for 3 paces of land as a gift. He would walk 3 steps, and whatever land he can cover, that should be gifted to that Brahmin or Lord Vamana disguised as a Brahmin. King Bali agreed to that. He gifted 3 paces of land and asked him to take these 3 steps. Then Lord Vamana came to his cosmic form. Huge. He was not a dwarf really. And the first step that he took covered the entire planet. So entire planet became his. So wherever Bali's dominion was gifted to Lord Vamana. Then the second foot that he took landed on the Brahmalok. Brahmalok is the world of Lord Brahma, who is the chief engineer of God the Supreme. God is only one, it can't be two. So all other gods and goddesses are working under him in different capacities. The chief engineer, Lord Brahma, when he saw the foot of Lord Narayana in his loka, he identified immediately it was Narayana's foot. So he took out from his kamandalu, his water pot, holy waters, and sprinkled on his feet, washed his feet as a gesture of reverence. That water turned into a goddess, holy goddess Ganga, and started flowing in the heaven, Swarga. There is a slight variation of this story in Bhagavata Purana. It says, in a different manner, the same thing, and the two can be synchronized. It says that when his foot landed on the Brahmalok, which is at the edge of the cosmos, the membrane separating our cosmos from the outer space got punctured by the nails of Lord Narayana. And from that hole, a different kind of water flowed inside, rushed inside, washing the feet of Lord Narayana. It turned again into goddess Ganga. So Ganga waters came from outside our cosmos. This is the message. But then the goddess went to heaven and started flowing there as Mandakini. There she is called Mandakini. Now this is the story of her origin. Now let's come to the earthly part of it, the second part of the story. The second part is that there was a great king called Sagar, an ancestor of Lord Rama, our favorite deity, Lord Rama, King Rama. His ancestor Sagar, he was also very virtuous and powerful. So once he conducted Ashwamedh Yajna. Ashwamedh Yajna is conducted by very powerful kings who want every other king to agree that they accept their superiority, the superiority of the person who does Ashwamedh Yajna and releases the horse. Ashwa means Ghoda, horse. The horse was released, it went to all the places in the country, and no king stopped the horse. But the chief of the gods and goddesses related to the natural forces like sun, fire, wind, their chief is Lord Indra. Indra is perceived to be a slightly jealous person. He doesn't want to see anybody growing too big. So he stole the horse as in the form of a demon, went to the netherworld, Patal, and tied it to the ashram of Kapil Muni, who was incidentally living there at that time. To a tree, he tied the horse close to his hermitage and then went away. Now, when the horse went missing, Sagar has 60,000 children. He sent all of them to find the horse. They couldn't find. They came back. They said, no, we couldn't find anywhere on earth. Then he said, you go to the netherworld, dig up the earth, find the way to netherworld, and it must be there. So they went close to what is Ganga Sagar today, where Ganga meets the ocean. And there, they started, all 60,000 of them started digging the earth. And they dug up a very, very, very big pit there, which is today the ocean there. That part of the ocean was dug up by the sons of Sagar, which is why it's called Sagar. And they uh, could enter the netherworld, and they found the horse was there, close to the hermitage of somebody. They saw Kapil Muni sleeping there. They didn't know who Kapil Muni was and what his majesty was like. So they kicked him, according to one of the accounts. Kapil Muni woke up and sat down and cast a glance at these 60,000 princes. They all got burned down and reduced to ashes. Kapil Muni was so powerful. He is said to be, and there is some reason to believe it, that he was an incarnation of Lord Narayana himself, very powerful. Now, this is one part of the story. The news reached Sagar, King Sagar, that all his 60,000 children from his younger wife, Sumati, had been reduced to ashes. Only one son remained from the elder wife, who was present there. He asked his gurus, who told him that only Ganga could liberate the souls of the 60,000 of his sons, who must have become pret, ghost-like entities who suffer a lot. To liberate their souls from there and to send them to heaven, only Ganga can help. So he tried a lot to bring Ganga to earth, but it was impossible. Others in his lineage, like the great King Dilip, also tried a lot but failed to do that. 4, 5, or 6 generations later, in the same lineage, there was a king called Bhagirath. He was a man of great determination, and he was quite concerned that 60,000 of his ancestors were lying there as pret and could not be released. So he said he would bring Ganga on earth. So he went to the Himalayas and did a lot of penance. When Brahma appeared before him and asked what he wanted, he said that, look, I want Ganga to be on earth, be flowing on earth to liberate 60,000 of my ancestors. He said, if Ganga goes there, lands from earth with such velocity, the earth might be pushed out of the planetary path. It may face destruction. So if that is to be done, you must persuade Lord Shiva, who lives in the Himalayas on Kailash, Mount Kailash, and you persuade him to be the shock absorber. The Ganga will land on his head and then start flowing on the earth. Then Bhagirath again went to the Himalayas and did a lot of penance for years together. Then he could persuade Lord Shiva to act as a shock absorber and to allow Ganga to land on his head. He agreed, and finally Ganga landed on the head of Lord Shiva and got locked, trapped in the matted locks of Lord Shiva, Jata of Lord Shiva. From there, she was released to flow on the earth, and she followed the path of Bhagirath. Bhagirath went ahead, she followed, and ultimately she reached the place where the ashes of the ancestors were lying. So she flowed over them, and all the ashes got submerged into the Ganga, and immediately their souls were released and sent to heaven. This is the story of Mother Ganges. Now, what do we learn from the story? The first lesson is that a man with a great resolve can achieve anything, even impossible things, which Bhagirath showed to the world. The second lesson is that every person should be judged by his own character and not by the community in which he is born. King Bali was born in Demon's community, but he was unlike demons. He had no characteristics of demons. The third key learning is that Lord Narayana is very fair. Children, initially it may seem that Lord Narayana was unfair to Bali because he deprived him of his empire completely. But children, you should know that Bali had unauthorizedly captured the domain of gods. But since he was a very noble and enlightened person, a great king, and also a devotee of Lord Narayana, he was given a reward which is rare for anybody. Despite being born in the community of demons, he was designated as the future Indra. The fourth great lesson is that war should always be avoided if it can be avoided. Lord Narayana could have helped the gods in fighting against this demon king, but he didn't go for a war. He said he would fight another way, and he got their kingdom back in a different way without a war. And the fifth lesson from this story is that the difference between a god and a demon is not absolute. You see, Indra, the chief of middle order gods and goddesses, stole the horse. Hari Sharanam. Hari Sharanam.